Hey guys, it's Ed with CMC Reptiles. I want to do a care video on the Sulcata tortoises. Depending on the time of year, you want to keep these guys outside as much as possible, especially when they're subadults. You can see right now they're basking in the mid to late morning sun, and that's what we want to make sure they have a nice spot where they can bask in the sun, especially in the morning where sun is nice and intense but not too hot for them. You see they know right where to go. Every morning they come to this spot and then they become more active once they heat up. But if they're cold and not getting hot enough, they stay pretty lethargic. So they'll sit here for a few hours, a couple hours. And there's nothing better than that natural sunlight. I live in the central part of California, Northern California. Average temperatures in the summertime here range between 90 and 110 degrees. Our humidity here is very dry. I've had these guys 5 years now, and they're doing really well. Also, another key thing is their diet. You want to make sure they have a mixed diet of greens, pellets. Yeah, you feed them these tortoise pellets right here. So these are Missouri tortoise pellets. Zucchini. And this is something I only offer them twice a week, is these type of greens. You got romaine hearts, zucchini, and of course the Missouri tortoise pellets. The rest I would like them to graze on wild grass, orchard grass, so I offer them that also. And that's what they graze mostly. 70% of their food is grazing on wild grasses, dandelions. The orchard grass I pick up at my local feed store. That's one of the best things for them. You see, this is the side yard. They like to hang out during early afternoon. There's a lot of shade, sun, little mixture of everything. And this is all I give for both of them. I get one romaine heart, one zucchini chopped up, and a cupful of Missouri tortoise pellets. Each of these tortoises weigh about 40 pounds each. And then the rest, like I said, is grazing on wild grass. Because these guys will overeat. You don't want to feed them too much. You don't want to put a giant bowl of food in their face 24 hours a day. That's not good. See, this is the yard. They love this part of the yard. I said there's a lot of shade. You got two big redwood trees here. All this wild grass, dandelions, orchard grass. And these guys are pretty hardy. Simple to take care of if you have the space. It's important to have the space these animals need to roam, to look for sun, for basking spots, and also for shade during the hot parts of the day. These guys don't want to be in intense heat. They don't want to bask where it's 110 degrees. They want to bask on the morning sunlight. And then, like I said, maybe an hour or two. And once they're done eating, they'll go bask again. Helps them digest the food. So it's almost like clockwork. Yeah, guys, normally after they eat, this is what they do. They bask in the sun for an hour or so. Actually, the other one, the male, has actually went into the shade. But that kind of shows you. The other one was basking a little bit, wanted to get out of the sun, cool down a little bit, and this is what they do. And when you provide all this for them, they're going to be good. They won't dig. The food, so we'll go over the food again. Romaine hearts are good. Orchard grass, tortoise pellets. tortoise pellets have everything in it, the Missouri tortoise pellets. Collard greens are really good, carrots. I mean, these guys will eat pretty much anything you put in front of them almost when it comes to anything vegetation. I mean, they'll eat pumpkin, cactus. Cactus is actually really good too. I'll buy these guys cactus once in a while. And they get a lot of water content out of the cactus. But these are all like treats. You don't want to give them too much of that. You don't want to give them too much romaine, too much zucchini or squash. Because then they end up just having the runs all the time. Their diet needs to be high in fiber. It's the most important thing. That's why grazing is really important. You let these guys go out and graze wild on their own and provide them plenty of water to drink. They don't drink a ton, but they do need that water. Let's see, there he is. He's drinking right from the grass, see? He's drinking right now. There's a bit of water puddled there. And that's one thing when you have these guys, you don't want to be spraying any kind of pesticides or weed killer or anything on the lawn that these animals can ingest. But he's guzzling up that water. Another thing, guys, I want to point out is because this is kind of an enclosed area of the yard, you got fence, the house, fence, and you have morning sunlight. This is morning sunlight. The temp outside just about 80 degrees, maybe 78. But you look at the ground temperature, 109, 110. Over here, 138. But you can see how heat radiates off the ground. So I'm gonna gun his shell. Right now his shell is at 96 in the shade. So he's perfect. And that's what I mean about how important it is to have shade. And this isn't even hot outside. But when you're in direct sunlight, it's a huge difference. Even if the temp is 75 degrees outside, direct sunlight, these animals, their shell will cook them just in a few hours if they don't have enough shade. I mean, she's just chilling, getting wet. She's cooling down a little bit from the afternoon heat. So these are just ideas you can do if you do have sulcatas, especially on the West Coast, California, because the humidity is so dry here. It's unlike Florida. Like I said earlier, we get a lot more dry weather than Florida does. Florida gets rain year-round. Most of the country gets rain year-round. We don't. That's why this state burns. That's why you see fires in California all the time. We have that dry heat, that high wind. But, I mean, this guy, she's nice and cooled down now. She'll probably come chill in the shade a little bit. But when you give them all this, everything they need, that you won't get any kind of digging. They got places to go when the afternoon sun gets too hot. They got shade to go in, and when it starts getting cool, they got a place to go to stay warm.